Chapter. So I want to thank Glenbrook Chrysler Dodge and Jeep and Alfa Romeo for allowing me to do this review. It's really exciting to get back behind the wheel doing reviews again, especially in something like this, the 2018 Alfa Romeo Stelvio. Ever since I saw this car at the 2017 Auto Show, I've been wanting to drive one. I've been wanting to see how it feels, and especially after driving the Alfa Romeo Giulia. That car really struck me. It really captured me, and it really made me want one as a family sedan. So driving one of these, I'm really excited because I want to see if any of that soul, that car has a soul to it, any of that personality, that soul is in this. I really hope it is. Right now I've only experienced it in traffic, and really in traffic the brake pedal is a little weird. You really don't know what the brakes are doing. It just kind of feels like the car is braking however it wants. I'm sure that's something you can get used to because the first time I drove a throttle by wire system, I didn't like it, and now they've gotten a lot better. So this being kind of newer and what people are doing, I'm sure it'll get better and you get used to it. But the rear view, out the rear view, the window feels really small, but yet, like when you look back there, you're like, man, that's a small viewing area. But honestly, it gives you plenty of information. For this being kind of a basic car, having that 4-cylinder turbo engine with 280 horsepower and 306 foot-pounds of torque, it actually has quite a bit of zip to it. I'm really impressed with that. I mean, you put your foot down and it goes. It's pretty good. See, when you're braking a little heavy, the brakes feel fine. It's when you're in traffic and stop-and-go traffic, when you're doing light braking, it really doesn't. You kind of modulate the brake, but nothing changes. So it's a little weird, a little different to get used to. There's a couple things that I really love about this dashboard. I love the gauges, the needles. It's simple little things that feel like there's some art and passion behind this. The gauges are actually, I enjoy looking at them, which is great. And I love the dash. I like how it sweeps. The steering wheel I think is beautiful. I love that the start button is on the steering wheel. It feels neat. I mean, trying to think of a better word for it, it just feels neat. I like it there. The size of the steering wheel is excellent. It's small and it feels great. The materials feel good. Everything feels really good. I even like the shape of the air vents. Now, I have this thing in D, or dynamic mode is what I think it is, and man, it's got some pickup. The throttle is really touchy. I mean, it's holding a gear, so I have power instantly when I put my foot down. This is a fun little SUV. Like, this one isn't equipped with the paddle shifters. If that's an option you can get it. I saw one on the lot that had the paddle shifters, so I would go for that. The paddle shifters have such a nice little satisfying click to them that if they're in this, I mean, you forget you're in an SUV. I've already forgotten. It feels a little bit smaller in here than honestly what I expected. My tempo has gone up because I actually am really enjoying driving this car. The one thing I don't like about the interior is the dials. There's the buttons that you can push, especially on the main dial, to control everything. Whatever they used material, it just shows like fingerprints really easy. That's a minute thing to complain about, but for me, I would be wiping it down constantly. All right, so now we'll do a quick little acceleration test from about 20. It didn't drop down a gear, which I wish it would have, but because when you do it from about a 40-mile-an-hour roll, I'll slow down to about 40. You're right in the boost. It actually throws you back, and this is just like close to a basic Stelvio, and it's this fun to drive. It's got enough horsepower where it puts a smile on your face just from this little 4-cylinder. So I'm about ready to hit some curves. I'm really excited to see how it feels because right now, this does not feel like an SUV. This does not feel like a crossover. This feels like a sports car, even though I'm sitting higher than normal. which is something Alfa should be proud of. I'm really impressed with this already. This is something where if this does these curves well, whew. So the only thing, all right, here we go. It's got quite a bit of body roll. Whoa. But it's there. I mean, I got this thing in dynamic mode, and this thing is quick. It rolls quite a bit. If that's the only thing that gives it away, that it's an SUV, is how much it rolls. Because it genuinely does. But, man, it's still, I mean, the steering is spot on and tight and quick. And the throttle response is great. So to me, overall, this feels like Alfa Romeo was like, okay, everybody's buying little SUVs, but we still have passion, we still have soul. So let's make a fun SUV. And they have. And this is this is a basic SUV for an Alfa Romeo. This is, I can't get over that. Like, the Quadrifoglio in this must be a hoot, because this is a blast to drive. And I don't know if a hoot is better than a blast, but it's got to be fun. Because this is incredible. It really is. You know, a while ago I drove the Dodge Durango, and I was wowed because I was like, how can an SUV be fun? And this is genuinely a totally different vehicle. The Durango is a 7-passenger, big, lumbering SUV, but it was still tight. This is a small little SUV, and it's a blast. I love how technology has come so far with 4-cylinder turbo engines, because this thing feels really quick. I believe it does 0 to 60 in under 6 seconds. I believe, if I'm remembering the website correctly. I think it said like 5.7. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I know you will down in the comments. But it feels so quick, and that's one thing that is really hard to not love about a turbocharged engine. A lot of people who race cars like a naturally aspirated engine because it's consistent power. You know what to expect when you're exiting a corner. But this feels so quick. And it's funny because you think about, I've driven, you can go down into my videos, I drove a 600 horsepower Camaro, and this feels faster. Because when you just lean into it and you get the torque surge from the boost, it throws your head back, and it's a blast to drive. That's what I love about this. 10 years ago, you would never expect this out of a 4-cylinder, to be this fun, especially from the factory. Then you floor it, and this thing just keeps pulling all the way through the revs. It's got going a little bit quicker than I expected. This is such a fun little car. It feels tiny, and it's not tiny. That's what's crazy about it. It's so agile. It begs to be driven, and that's really strange for an SUV. Would I say it's begging me to take it off-road? No. I think we need to relabel SUVs, because nobody takes these things off-road, and I think that's where a lot of people, or a lot of automotive journalists, like to knock these things down, because people aren't using them for what they're labeled, and who cares? This is a fun car. It's fun to drive, and if you are a dad and you can't have 2 cars, buy this. I'm serious. This thing's a blast. And go drive one. Just do it. Go test drive one. Make sure you can get away from traffic and you can really test the car out. You will not be disappointed. This is a fun little car. Alfa has got my attention, and I think my family will need one at some point. So, thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Thank you to Glenbrook Alfa Romeo for letting me do this review today. I mean, this is my first review back for the year, and it's May, and this was a good one to shake the dust off. I'm blown away by this thing. If it had a little less body roll, it would be mind-boggling. That's the only thing that gives this thing away as an SUV when you're really getting after it. But oh wow. Thank you. Yes, we have I kind of get back into falling in love with this thing when I start talking about it. If you please subscribe if you haven't already. Check out my website, carguments.net. I have a podcast as well. You can find that on iTunes, and it's just the Carguments podcast.